Ads here from Herman Hits the Road. Welcome to Motorhome and Campervan News November 2021. In this video I look at new low emission zones, Scotland to have a new traveller tax, and a new electric motorhome hits the streets. You can find links to all the news articles in the video description, and I've also provided timestamps. Wait until the end of the video for bloopers and outtakes, and let us know how much you enjoyed the video by leaving a comment and giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of our videos, then why not subscribe and ring the notification bell. We'll start off with some freakish weather overturning a motorhome and a caravan. Reported on the BBC News website, a mini tornado has ripped through Humberston and Thorngumbold. Freak winds, described as a mini tornado, have damaged houses and overturned vehicles on the east coast near Cleethorpes and Hull. A Humberston resident said, "It was really frightening, with tiles and bins flying all over the place." He said the sound of the neighbour's motorhome flipping over sounded like a bomb going off. He'd been in his front room when it happened and he suddenly heard a sort of whoosh. Meanwhile, people living in Thorngumbold reported similar problems with chimney pots being ripped off, a garage being blown away and a caravan being turned over. Wow, can you imagine staying in a campsite and your motorhome turning over while you're in it? It's just incredible. Sometimes it has felt like that at some of the places we've been to. No one likes paying tax, but the Express reports that motorhome owners support tax proposals for better facilities. They pay for themselves. Motorhome and campervan owners are calling for more suitable areas to stay following the proposals to impose a form of tax on staycationers. The Council of Outer Hebrides said a possible move could see drivers making a small contribution to the services they use when there. This would help protect the local area as well as contributing income towards local infrastructure and motorhome and campervan services. The Scottish Government may be putting new legislation in place on a short-term visitor tax named a transient visitor levy. It is estimated this would generate between £5 to £10 million each year, depending on how the scheme was designed. The Outer Hebrides, as well as the rest of Scotland, have seen thousands of Britons visit the area on staycation, given the restrictions on foreign travel. Before the coronavirus pandemic, Scotland received 13.8 million overnight domestic visitors from Scotland and elsewhere in Great Britain. In addition to this, there were 133 million day visitors in 2019, with all visitors spending a combined £11.5 billion. Just to be clear on this, it doesn't say whether these numbers were just vanners, and therefore probably include people staying in hotels and B&Bs. By having an additional tax on motorhome and campervan owners when they go on staycation, it could have countless benefits for Scotland. Some were supportive of the proposals, with many comparing the UK situation with that of Europe, where they say motorhome owners are treated better. To me, it sounds like an overnight parking charge, and therefore only vanners will be affected. People staying in hotels won't be charged with the transient visitor levy. I want to know your feelings about this. Do you think this is money grabbing? Would it stop or encourage wild camping? Do you think it would benefit the area, or do you think vanners will go elsewhere? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And on the subject of tax, there's going to be some changes to the low emission zones. From the 29th of November, Portsmouth will be introducing a low emission zone. The zone covers a small area including the White Link ferry, which takes you to the Isle of Wight. The Brittany Ferries terminal is outside the zone and therefore is not affected. Non-private vehicles using the low emission zone will be charged, such as HGV, commercial vans, taxis, etc. The charging will be based on the vehicle category type and whether it meets emission standards. Our motorhome, a 1998 Hymer, does not have a type or emission standard on the vehicle logbook, and according to the note here, will be charged £50 to use the zone. So if you're thinking of travelling in a low emission zone, first find out how much you'll be charged. From the 25th of October, the ultra low emission zone is set to expand in London, and vehicles of more than 3.5 tonnes will be charged £100 if they don't meet the emission targets. That will include motorhomes and cars pulling caravans. I'll leave links in the video description so that you can check out the charges for your vehicle. Good news now from the Northumberland Gazette. Overnight parking for motorhomes set to be trialled in Northumberland coastal car parks. Northumberland County Council has identified car parks in Bamber, Beadnell and Amble as potentially suitable for a pilot scheme. It has engaged with key stakeholders to get feedback in recent weeks and now aims to submit planning applications for all 3 sites later in autumn. The scheme is being proposed in response to a number of motorhome and campervan related issues, including inconsiderate parking and litter. There are also challenges enforcing current overnight parking restrictions because the authority must provide indisputable evidence that people have been sleeping in a vehicle overnight. As a result, penalty charge notices are often overturned on appeal. Paul Jones, the Council's Director of Local Services, in a report to those parish councils consulted, explained, "The Council recognises that the use of motorhomes is an increasing trend escalated by the COVID-19 pandemic and an increase in staycations." He said there are concerns that there won't be sufficient availability in formal campsites and that there are people with motorhomes that don't want to stay in that kind of facility anyway. The proposed pilot scheme would allow 8 motorhomes to park overnight in the overflow car park at Beadnell Bay, with 6 each at Bamberg's Links Road car park and Amble Braid. There are public toilets at Beadnell and temporary portable toilets at Bamber, but no facilities at Amble Braid. Spaces would have to be pre-booked online with no option to pay on arrival. Tables, chairs, awnings and barbecues outside the vehicle would not be permitted. Mr Jones continued, "A formal review of the operation of the pilot scheme will be undertaken in advance of spring 2022 to assess the feasibility of continuing and expanding the trial during the summer months. We believe this is an opportunity to try and better regulate some of the problematic parking that we already know takes place in our car parks, but is challenging to control using conventional enforcement methods." I think this is great news. Rather than trying to get rid of a problem in a negative way, the Northumberland County Council are accepting the problem and trying a positive approach. More good news reported by the Inverness Courier. Plans agreed to provide cheap overnight motorhome pitches in a bid to stem wastewater dumping and tackle the lack of facilities. Highland Council's Tourism Committee has agreed proposals for the development of a network of low-cost overnight stopover facilities for motorhome users. It is hoped the sites, known as an Airy, based on the French name Air, could assist in meeting the need for facilities specific to motorhome users across Highland. In doing so, that could offset some of the harms and costs of cleaning up after thoughtless campervan users who have behaved poorly in recent months. Among the complaints are that some people have dumped anything from grey water, like sink water, to toilet waste in the countryside. Detailed proposals for an economic prosperity fund indicate that anyone establishing an Airy could, given its commercial basis, apply for cash to get started. Tourism Committee Chairman Councillor Gordon Adams said, "Demand for self-contained travel is rising and therefore we need to develop more facilities that meet demand whilst protecting the environment and the Highland communities. This remains a priority in 2022. Now, according to the November edition of MMM magazine, German manufacturer Knaus has launched an electric motorhome. The Knaus E Power Drive is the company's first motorhome that is propelled and powered by electric, but it also has a range extender petrol rotary engine. It uses a bank of batteries to power the vehicle and a small engine to recharge it when plug-in recharging is unavailable. The motorhome, which is based on the current Van TI65 MEG Vansation low profile, that's a long name, resembles the conventional motorhome at first sight, although clues to its electric system can be seen in the cab. First, there is no gear lever. In its place are push-button automatics that replicate the controls of a typical automatic gearbox: park, reverse, neutral and drive. A further 2 buttons turn on the motorhome's heating. This also heats up the batteries when temperatures are too low, and the other button turns off the recuperation system for use in adverse driving conditions such as ice or packed snow. At the same time, the charging status of the batteries, which have a capacity of 35 kilowatt hours, is displayed on a 12-inch touchscreen display, which also enables users to manage the infotainment and can also display additional information about the driving mode. A second display shows the operating status of the motorhome, the speed or the currently requested driving performance. The e-motor performs at up to 180 kilowatts and enables this fully equipped 4-seater motorhome to travel at over 65 miles an hour. That's 110 kilometers an hour. It can also recuperate during manual mode, meaning it can produce energy that is stored in the battery fitted close to the rear axle in the floor. At best, the lithium-ion cells of the front-wheel drive van can be recharged within around 3 hours at a charging point. During testing, the range in pure electric was 56 miles. 90 kilometers. Then the range of the extender engine starts to recharge the battery pack, but it is also able to supply electricity to the drive motor. At the same time, the range extender also supplies energy to the living space. A DC to AC converter provides the living space with normal household 230 volts. The company designed it so that in normal weather conditions, it should be possible to live in the motorhome independently for up to 5 days, for lighting, cooking and heating. Looking further ahead, the long-term goal of Knaus is to install a fuel cell in place of the rotary engine, which produces the required energy in an even more clean manner because it only emits water. The ultimate aim is to provide a basic motorhome sitting in the popular 3.5 ton class, approved for operation with 4 people, and a reasonable, useful vehicle load capacity. Overall, I think this is a good attempt at an electric motorhome. However, the pure electric range is appalling, and a 3-hour wait time for recharging means it could be a while before you get to your destination. Using a rotary Wankel engine should mean it's quiet, but may require more oil top-ups than a normal piston-driven engine, and it may not start sometimes. Just ask a Mazda RX owner. Reported similar problems with chimney pops. Pops? Hello, dear. No, chimney pop. The Scottish Government may be putting new legislation, and therefore probably includes people staying in hotels and not barbecues. I knew I was going to mess up with that. Oh, bloody hell. In the overnight car park at Beadnell, with 6 each at Bamberg, Link City. I can't say these names. Oh. Bamber, as in Edinburgh. Bamberg. And temporary portable toilets at Bamberg. Oh. I'm sure it's not Bamberg. It's Bamber. Bamber. Berg. Mr. Jones continued. Mr. Jones. Oh, it's Mrs. Jones. We believe this is an opportunity to try and better... That's it for this month. Like, subscribe and ring the bell. Thanks for watching and goodbye.